October 2nd, AD 2023. My name is Hansen Decker, presenting in Airlines. National Elections Commission dismisses accusation of plans to break the October 10 polls, says the commission will conduct a free, fair, and transparent election. Following the recent electoral violence in Loupa County, National Chiefs and Air Council calls for impartial investigation as for Speaker Baffa Chima's terms terroristic anti-peace statements by former Vice President being good evening, Oliver.
Good evening, Hansen, and good evening to all. National Elections Commission has expressed frustration over the low attendance of political parties at the Inter-Party Consultative Committee Forum. The Inter-Party Consultative Committee Forum serves as a critical platform for political discourse and cooperation organized by the NEC, but the event was poorly participated with parties raising concerns within the NEC. The chairperson, speaking on the matter over the weekend, David Brala Sanam, highlighted the recurring issue for political parties to be absent from meetings held at the commission. She lamented that such behavior of political parties does not convey a positive image to the international community, the body that is closely monitoring Liberia's political activities. Furthermore, the NEC's boss has championed calls for political parties' active involvement in positive activities that seek to ensure peaceful elections, referring to the opposition parties as the government in waiting. She argued that they must shoulder the responsibility for their actions and decisions, especially those that can propel them to higher levels of governance. The NEC, along with the Economic Community of West African States, conducted a one-day demonstration of its results management system for the upcoming 2023 general elections. This initiative aimed to engage electoral stakeholders and ensure a transparent electoral process. In remarks, Christine Omutuni, the United Nations resident coordinator in Liberia, emphasized the collective responsibility of every Liberian in ensuring the success of the elections. She underlined that elections transcend the NEC's jurisdiction, stating that international partners have a vested interest in safeguarding peace globally. Benin expressed proud in Liberia's ability to manage its own elections, attributing this capability to the nation's commitment to maintaining peace. Representing the political parties, ACOB National Chair Ansu Dole conveyed the nation's cautious approach to the upcoming elections, acknowledging that past challenges in Liberia often originated from electoral processes. In another development, the National Elections Commission has termed as false and misleading a media publication that it is planning to rig the October 10th, 2023 elections. The reaction of the Electoral House comes following a publication by the Liberian Observer newspaper dictated September 29 that the National Elections Commission has plans to rig the October 10 polls. The article claimed that the NEC had plans to rig the October 10 elections, citing former Information Minister Lamine Warete with the headline, "Only NEC can rig election." The NEC, in an official statement signed by its Deputy Communications Director, dismissed the allegations as baseless and should not be given credence. The Commission stressed that such claim is not only attended as intended to undermine the integrity of the electoral process, but also pose a threat to the safety of its staff and the overall peace and stability of the country. The NEC asserted that it has a track record of conducting free, fair, inclusive, and credible elections, which can be verified through past election results. Meanwhile, the NEC has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring the upcoming October 10, 2023 general elections is free, fair, and transparent. Furthermore, the NEC is encouraging all registered voters to exercise their democratic rights by going to the polls on October 10, assuring them that their votes will be counted accurately. Authorities of the National Chiefs and Elders Council of Liberia are calling for an immediate investigation into the violent incident in Foya District, Lofa County. The council, through its spokesperson, Matthew Smith, condemned all SARS involved in the incident and called for impartial investigation aimed at bringing the perpetrators to justice. According to Smith, the incident in Foya that involved people believed to be supporters of the ruling coalition of democratic change and the Unity Party has the propensity to undermine the peace of the country. Matthew Smith is therefore calling on the Liberia National Police and the Joint Security to deploy more manpower in the area aimed at remedying the situation. And meanwhile, Smith is admonishing political stakeholders in the country to refrain from acts that will undermine the peace of the country. At the same time, Matthew Smith has pointed accusing fingers at Unity Party's standard bearer, Ambassador Joseph Waka, for making statements that could incite his followers to cause of violence in the October's elections. Smith described Ambassador Waka as an experienced politician in the body politics of the country, as such she should serve as an example for others to follow. Report says the Bensonville Referral Hospital in rural Montserrat County is currently out of drugs, leaving patients and community dwellers in panic. According to RCI rural Montserrat County correspondent, the Bensonville Hospital has been out of drugs for the past 10 months without redress from the government of Liberia, something which dwellers in that part of the country termed as worrisome. The officer in charge of the hospital, Madame Tene Brusher, described the shortage of drugs at the medical facility as unbearable for residents of Hillsborough, to the district and other parts of the county, including rural Bowman County. Madame Brusher further said UNICEF has been the only institution to intervene in the situation despite the numerous calls. Meanwhile, the OIC lamented that pregnant women and children are left vulnerable to the sicknesses and diseases as a result of the situation. House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers has termed as terroristic anti-peace statements made by former Vice President Joseph Waka and Neighbor County Senator Prince Johnson. Addressing the media in Plepo Sudekan District Monday, Speaker Chambers said void of proper interpretation by the authors. The statements are anti-democratic. According to him, the economic community of West African states has been contacted to ensure mechanisms are instituted to deter such actions. Further that, Liberia has made significant strides in the pursuit of peace and reconciliation. As such, the democracy of the state lies on the fair and peaceful conduct of elections. He added that it will be unlikely for former Vice President Waka and Senator Johnson to depart Liberia without interrogation. The House Speaker is calling on all political parties, including former Vice President Joseph Waka, to prioritize the well-being of Liberia and its citizens. The Yoruba Community and Descendant Union of Liberia has underscored the need for the maintenance of peace in Liberia. Speaking over the weekend at a program marking Nigeria's 63rd Independence Day celebration by the Yoruba Community and Descendant Union of Liberia in Painesville, Chief Matthew McKinley said, as Nigerians in Liberia, they are interested in the progress of the country. McKinley will raise concern about the pending elections, calls on Nigerians who are eligible to vote in Liberia to vote leaders who are supportive for the progress of the country rather than personal interest. Montserrat County District Number 6 Representative Samuel Enders is soliciting resident support in the fight against drug addiction in the district. Representative Samuel Enders speaking at the official launch of his campaign in the district named Health and Sanitation, Education, Women and Youth Empowerment as Priority, but stressed that the issue of drug addiction will be top on his agenda, lamenting that drug is destroying the future generation. On the issue of empowerment, Representative Enders has vowed to open the first bank in the district and at enabling marketers and residents to take loan from the bank and invest into their businesses. Economic freedom fighter of Liberia is admonishing the National Elections Commission to institute measures for the conduct of free and fair elections. EFFL political leader Emmanuel Gongwe, speaking at a news conference Monday, described the electoral body as the institution responsible to uphold the sanity of the democracy by preventing conflict among the citizens and political parties during the elections. Gongwe used the medium to assure Liberians of ensuring that individuals wanting to disturb the peace of Liberia are brought to justice. Representative candidate Muka Kamara has urged voters in Montserrat County District Number 14 to avoid 2017 bad record of invalid votes and wisely cast the ballots on October 10. Kamara, speaking at the official launch of his campaign Saturday in Claratown, Bushwood Island, disclosed that District Number 14 had the highest number of invalid votes in Montserrat during the 2017 elections and wants the residents to carefully mark their ballots. The renowned businessman and candidate of the ruling CDC has also warned against elections violence, calling on citizens to see opposition as Liberian. Montserrat County District Number 3 Representative candidate Councillor Kuku Dobo has vowed to build a rehabilitation center in 100 days if elected in the October 10 elections. Addressing calls of citizens over the weekend at the conclusion of a campaign activity, Councillor Dobo assured the residents that within her 100 days in office, she will build a rehabilitation center in the district aimed at taking disadvantaged youths from fish trade. According to her, the issue of drug is a national crisis. As such, it must be urgently addressed. Representative candidate in District Number 3, Montana County, Kofi Jones has vowed to prepare the upcoming generation if elected. According to Jones, Liberia will be transformed based on the right decision of the residents of the district and Liberia at large. He noted that he being the next lawmaker of District Number 3 and considering his level of qualification, the people of the district will be ably represented at the legislature. Away from Liberia, a former Nigerian oil minister has appeared in court in London after being charged with receiving bribes in exchange for multi-million-dollar oil and gas contracts. Dazanin Alassane Matuki was Nigeria's Minister for Petroleum Resources between 2010 and 2015, during the tenure of former President Goodluck Jonathan. She was also the first female president of the oil bloc OPEC. Britain's National Crime Agency said she had received various forms of rewards, including cash, luxury goods, and holidays. The NCA said it frozen assets worth millions of dollars related to the charges were hence that's the news collected.
For the news bulletin, the foreign development, the news bulletin, it is a regular feature on the news program, news decks. And of course, if you are just joining us in one of the top developments we are following this evening, officer in charge of the Benson Hospital alarms over the lack of drug at the facility calls for an immediate intervention from national government. Let's bring you the voices of the newsmakers. The National Elections Commission has expressed frustration over the low attendance of political parties at the Inter-Party Consultative Committee Forum. The Inter-Party Consultative Committee Forum serves as a critical platform for political discourse and cooperation organized by the NEC. The event was poorly participated with few parties. The chairperson speaking on the matter over the weekend, Brown Lasana, highlighted the issue for political participation in every gathering. In remarks, Christine Omotonin, the United Nations resident coordinator in Liberia, emphasized the collective responsibility of every Liberian in ensuring the success of the elections.
We have this because no humanity and until all of us globally. So I stand here as the human rights coordinator. I want to say that it needs some pride to see that if the president and the executive carried out by the civilian on their own, there's no, it is lying there. And as an African group, it will be a lot of pride.
Representing the political parties, APCO Chair Ansudole compared the nation's courteous approach to the upcoming elections, acknowledging the challenges in Liberia often originated from electoral processes. Amen. You can be misspelling my name.
It is Liberia's force of election being carried on by the Liberians, and this is the reason why we also respect ourselves as Liberians that we are participating for. If you look at historical retrospective of electioneering in this country, all of our chaos and problem begins with election. This is the reason why we are very careful in navigating in this process. Sometimes people correct us. Actually, election Nigeria, we're one of the most positive elections in the world, where you have 1,000 people voting and they were having 400,000 people voting.
Ansudole is the national chair of the opposition political party, APCO. Either you listen to the voice of the United Nations resident coordinator in Liberia, Christine Omotonin, and the voice of the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, David Brown Lasana. Authorities of the National Chiefs and Air Council of Liberia is calling for an immediate investigation into the violent incident in Lofa County. The council, through its spokesperson Matthew Smith, condemned all SARS involved in the incident and called for an impartial investigation aimed at bringing the perpetrators to justice.
This is a message from text of the Honorable Sankawa, who is the father of this nation. You know, since the campaign period, the chief have been touring the 15 counties, ensuring peace continue to sustain in every facet of the country. Is why they have been doing from county to county. There's a serious issue. Violence occurred in Foya, Lofa County, where 2 persons pronounced dead, and the woman regret the situation for the fact that all of the messages have been appeals to do away with violence and to hear in that county that cannot take that place. Because remember that Sunday campaign started, nearly all of the counties now considered violence free. That had been our expectation. But to hear that Foya Lofa County, it was not easy there, 2% down. It is very, very unfortunate. It's regrettable. So woman, first of all, he extends his deepest sympathy is to the bereaved family, and also at this movement from against the war, all political actors, all politicians, all stakeholders, especially those that control the two political parties, to remain resolute until we see the end of the election. Now, the government is safe because everybody should adhere to the Farmington Declaration is to continue to sustain the peace. And so that is the process. It has the propensity of undermining the peace. Jesus answer say he condemned it. And he appealing to national government to go to the issue, to put into the investigation, and anyone that they are reliable should be dealt with according to the law. So the woman is telling all the chiefs and county chairman of the county to be part of that investigation.
At the same time, Smith has pointed accusing fingers at Unity Party standard bearer Ambassador Joseph Walker, making statements that could incite his followers to cause violence in the October elections. Smith described Ambassador Walker as an experienced politician in the body politics of the country. As such, he should serve as an example for others to follow suit. A message from Dex of the Honorable Chairman Jesus Kawa, who is the father of this nation.
Reference to the message of Honorable Joseph Walker, the former president.
Report says the Bensenville Referral Hospital in Roman-Sorata County is currently out of drugs, leaving patients and community dwellers in panic. According to RCA Roman-Sorata County correspondent, the Bensenville Hospital has been out of drug for the past 10 months without redress from the government of Liberia. The officer in charge of the hospital, Madam Jenny Bronskin, has been in conversation with our Tony District correspondent. Madam Tenen Bouchard is the officer in charge of the Bentonville Referral Hospital. Hospital Dr. Bavachimas has termed as terroristic anti-peace statements made by former Vice President Joseph Walker and Nima County Senator Prince Johnson. Addressing the media in Plibo Sodican District Monday, Speaker Chambers said a vote of proper interpretation by the authors, these statements are anti-democratic. Well, we sincerely apologize, and of course, if you are just joining us, these are the top developments we are following this evening on the news program. National Elections Commission dismisses accusation of plans to break the October 10th polls, says the commission will conduct a free, fair, and transparent election. Following the recent electoral violence in Lofa County, national chiefs and other council calls for an impartial investigation. As well, Speaker Bavachima's terms as terroristic anti-peace statements made by former Vice President Joseph Walker and Nima County Senator Prince Johnson. Officer in charge of the Bentonville Referral Hospital alarms over the lack of drug at the facility calls for an immediate intervention from national government. And in foreign news, a former Nigerian minister has appeared in court in London after being charged with receiving bribes in exchange for $40 million oil and gas contracts. Let's continue with more news. Montserrat County District 6 Representative Samuel Ennis is soliciting resident support in the fight against drug addiction in the district. Representative Samuel Ennis speaking of the official launch of his campaign in the district named Health and Sanitation, Education, Women and Youth Empowerment as priority, but stressed that the issue of drug addiction would be top on his agenda.
Good afternoon.
Samuel Ennis is Mansoura County District 6 representative speaking at the official launch of his campaign. Economic Freedom Fighter of Liberia is admonishing the National Elections Commission to institute measures for the conduct of free and fair elections. EFFL political leader Emmanuel Gonga speaking at a news conference Monday described the electoral body as the institution responsible to uphold the sanity of the democracy by preventing conflict among the citizens and political parties during the elections.
The different political occurrences in our country, we must ensure that these elections are free and fair. And the institution that shows that responsibility is the National Election Commission. They must do all they can to uphold the sanity of our democracy, prevent chaos in our country, because across the length and breadth of the world, the electoral dispute constitute almost 90% of the conflict globally. We do not want to see a repeat of the 1985 situation, and that's what the EFFL is consistent about flagging issues that boil around the total integrity. We will continue to all the stakeholders, including the National Elections Commission, fit to the fire to ensure that these elections are free, that the rights of our people are protected. Very people want nothing other than a free and fair elections.
The Economic Freedom Fighter of Liberia, they're bringing us these sporting developments. Let's now welcome Naomi Tapia. Good evening.
Good evening and good evening, everyone. Liberia International Brent Samaro has been voted the York United's Player of the Season by the club fans, according to Liberia Players Update. Since joining York United on a free transfer in February, the Liberia International has made 25 appearances in all competitions. The team is fifth in the Canadian Premier League with one game remaining in the regular season and a chance to compete in the league's playoffs. In another development, Musa Sano scored twice to help his team, Ayutthaya United, defeat Mwa Pachika 2-0 at home. The 28-year-old Liberian attacker has scored 4 goals in his first 7 League 2 appearances. Senior female professionals ended Ravia Angels winning run in the LFA Upper Women's League at the weekend. Ravia Angels were sent to a 2-1 defeat at a Summer Candle Sports Complex participation in a tension-packed match that left fans of the league leaders frustrated. In other results of the Female First League, Ambassadors overpowered Just FC 2-0 at Antoinette Tottenham Stadium, while Blanco FC barred the defending champions Determined Girls 3-0 at a 2-side fee in Ganansville. At the North Star Stadium, F Angels emerged victoriously against Barca Girls 2-0 to make advancement in the league law. Carlsbad-based Shakhtar Angels collected all 3 points when they overcame Soccer Ambassadors 3-0, and Stages Queens won via Mucha FC 2-0 to end all the women's upper league soccer activities. Now, Polish striker Victor Osimhen says he has unwavering love for the club and has urged unity amongst its fans base. The Serie A club were criticized for sharing a video on TikTok appearing to mock the Nigerian for missing a penalty last week, but said they never meant to offend the 24-year-old. The footage included a caricature voicing gaming penalty plays. After scoring in a police 4-0 win at Lakes on Saturday, Osimhen reiterated his love for Napoli on Instagram. Coming to the city of Naples in 2020 was a wonderful decision for me, said Osimhen. Osimhen's agent threatened legal action against the club for the post, which has now been deleted, while manager Rudy Garcia said midweek he has invested 100% in the Serie A club despite the incident. And finally, Liverpool had to appeal against the record given to Curtis Jones to win the controversial 2-1 defeat at Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday. Jones was sent off for fouling Yves Bissouma on 26 minutes after a video assistant referee intervention. Referee Simon Hooper initially gave Jones a yellow card for the challenge, but changed his decision after going to the pitch side monitor. Midfielder Jones, 22, faces a 3-game ban if the card is not overturned. If the dismissal is upheld, he will miss Liverpool's Premier League games against Brighton, Everton, and Nottingham Forest. On Sunday, the Reds issued a statement after VAR failed to overturn an incorrect decision to disallow a Luis Diaz goal for offside. With the match at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium goalless, the club says sporting integrity has been undermined after the governing body for referees PGMOL said a decision to rule out the goal was a significant human error. That's up now to
on the social unity party.
On September 21st of this year, news started filtering on social media from individuals whose social media accounts clearly indicate that they are from the CDC, from outside of our community, island and within our community, spreading false information that I am a member of the opposition unity party and a and campaigner of former Vice President Joseph Walker. They quickly went on my social media page and downloaded an old picture of 11 years when I launched my first book after the discharge, a book that details my miraculous survival of a massacre which took place in a Zozo village, Lofa County, in 1993, at which time I was the only male survivor of a brutal killing that left several dead. Today, I bear those scars of war as a testimony of the power of God, as well as a reminder of the need for us to cherish and maintain democracy and peace of our nation. Why it is true that the former Vice President, then Vice President Joe Walker, was at the program, he was invited solely to launch my book. And as a citizen of this country, I am unapologetic about that, as I have the right to associate and disassociate and interact with any individual, irrespective of their political, religious, and social background. For one to take an old picture of 11 years sitting side with a former vice president or sitting vice president, at which time I am only in my book, he was launching a line. It is a campaign activity, it's devilish and intended to tarnish my hard-earned reputation.
The voice of a Liberian cleric, David Fatom, and they're reacting to social media information. Mansour County District 3 Representative candidate Councillor Kogu Doba has vowed to build a rehabilitation center in 100 days if elected in the October 10 elections. Addressing schools of citizens over the weekend at the close of her campaign activity, Councillor Doba assured residents that within her 100 days in office, she will build a rehabilitation center in the district aimed at taking disadvantaged youth from the streets.
I want to assure the people of District Number 3 that we love you. We will continue the especially the rehab program. We have a wonderful land. Finding our 100 years, we have a rehab center. We also want to acknowledge and also want to assure our women
voice of Montserrat County District 3 Representative Kennedy, Councilor Kuku Dabada, speaking, representing at the same time, Representative Kennedy District 3 Montserrat County Kofi Jones has vowed to prepare the upcoming generation if elected. According to Jones, Liberia will be transformed based on the right decision of the residents of the district and the citizens at large. He noted that being the next lawmaker of District 3 and considering his level of qualification, the people of the district will be able to represent there at the legislature. The voice of Montserrat County District representative candidate Sandra Kofi. Finally, today's development, the Yoruba community and decent union of Liberia has underscored the need for the maintenance of peace in Liberia. Speaking over the weekend at program marking Nigeria's 63rd Independence Day celebration by the Yoruba community and descendant union of Liberia in Painesville, Chief McKinney said, as Nigerians in Liberia, they are interested in the progress of the country.
Most of my people was by paper. And most of our children born here, they are citizens, right? So my message to my people, it should not be forward too much. It should not be designed. It should be a good support to the progress of Nigeria, of development of Nigeria, of the forward of Nigeria. That is what we are after. One is Nigeria progress. Without Nigeria progress, we know about the inside, we can't do progress. But when the peace in Nigeria and the lesson of successful, make it to enjoy little suffer you do. You can sit down and say, but when there is no peace, you say that I don't enjoy it.
At the same time, the Yoruba community has endorsed the representative bid of Montserrat County District 3 Representative Toba Wonoke receiving the endorsement. Wonoke termed the endorsement as a great move and a recognition.
The Nigerian community and what they have done here in terms of their partnership with us speaks for him as well. And to one theory of the 18 of us to be by these people, and they now expected that they don't see this coming. I take this and our wedding is a badge of honor, and I'm grateful to the for this appreciation today. Like they say, I'm a human rights activist. I run a Human Rights Foundation that has championed the cause of human rights in this country. What will happen is that when Toba Team becomes a representative, and I walk up on camera here, the men and women who are there today serving as lawmakers, they will get right away. But a man of dignity, a man who believes in human rights, and a man who believes in accountability and transparency and justice has become a part of them.
Toba Wonoke's Montserrat County District 3 Representative candidate there receiving an endorsement from the Yoruba community in Liberia Edo was the voice of the head of the Yoruba community, Chief Matthew McKinney. They're bringing us to the end of today's edition of the news program. But as we take leave of you, these are the top stories we have been following. National Elections Commission dismisses accusation of plans to break the October 10 polls, says the commission will conduct a free, fair, and transparent election. Following the recent electoral violence in Lofa County, national chiefs and other council calls for impartial investigation. As well speak above Achima's terms as terroristic anti-peace statements by the former Vice President Joseph Walker and Nima County Senator Prince Johnson. Officer in charge of the Banksville Referral Hospital alarms over the lack of drug at the facility calls for an immediate intervention from national government. And in foreign news, a former Nigerian oil minister has appeared in court in London after being charged with receiving bribes in exchange for multi-million-dollar oil and gas contracts. Many thanks to all of our correspondents, writers, reporters, editors, and those who helped in making today's edition of News Desk a success. Olivia Bound read for us the news bulletin, the foreign development. Now, I'm going to tap factor in the sporting segment on the news program. Johnson Batoma, able coordinated the sound mind, Tobian, able sat at controlled and coordinated the entire production of the news program for on behalf of the news team. Yes,
When it comes to communication in Liberia, Orange is number one.
Orange is the best. Orange is the best. Oh, Orange is the best.
Orange is the best.
Strongest network, widest coverage,
Orange is the best.
fastest internet speed.
Orange is the best.
People, Orange is the best. Yes, Orange is the best.
Lamakitia, Naratama, Pulizu, Copenhagen, that's a Riboga Orange, Topaga number one. Swing it.
Company is the Orange. I don't got the best.
Orange will more you the telephone on.
Reliable, trusted, and dependable.
Orange is about 7. Yeah, Orange is
Orange is the best.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.